My name is Dorte Friis, I'm an architect and I'm one of the two owners at Spacelab. We like to be known for being very challenging and responsive to our customers, and we also always work with the project in the center, and we work in how we can create relations between people in architecture. We always have this in mind, how to strengthen relation through architecture. Yeah, I think so. It's hard to see how it will develop, but I think our customer is expecting or demanding more and more that we can illustrate it in like real time or very natural pictures showing how it would be like. But of course, because it gets more and more common, the customers also expect it, and they maybe don't really are aware how much time it takes to do these illustrations. So the question is if they are ready to pay for it or not. I think at the end of the day, it's so complex. It is very hard to say what is actually sustainable. And when we come into an existing building, of course, we try to reuse as much as possible. And we found that the way we did it was inspiring the teachers to be teaching in a different way, and the pupils felt more comfortable, they were more motivated, they felt they was strengthening their social interaction because they were working better in the class socially, and they stayed after school because it was a nice place to be. And that is a thing we will quite like to develop, because we find it very interesting that we go into a gymnasium and do it with focus on relation, and it turns out also to be very successful in the way the interaction is between teacher and students in between. We are working on some office design, and we are working on a crisis center for women, and we are also doing 2 retail projects in the Fire Island. Our specialty is to work in existing buildings, to rebuild them so their functions become better towards new functions. Yeah, to change existing buildings, to do a transformation so they suit the needs the customer has. Because of the sizes of our project, it's not relevant for us, but we are aware of it all the time, and we know to be aware of also. As architects, you think we are so professional that our skills are so unique, so we can't be disrupted, but we know that everybody can be disrupted, so we are having this conversation now and then, how to be aware of that. We find projects in 3 ways. We find projects in our own cold canvas, we call it in Danish, where we call people and see if we can make projects. We have customers coming because they have found us on the internet, our homepage, and we have customers, as like you said, from our network. And we have big projects in all 3 groups, but most of our projects come via network. It has a big advantage because some people just can't imagine it. So it's easier for them to imagine if they have the VR, if they have the 3D sketches and make a movie where they have the feeling of going through the building. So when you are explaining what architecture is doing, it is a big help for them to actually understand it. I think the physical models are so much last year, but at the same time we don't really have a language to explain it, to discuss it. I find it very interesting that we have a lack of words communicating about what spaces do to us. And we have done it a bit to go out and do films of our projects to tell the story. And that we could, I can imagine us doing more of that. But I'm very interested in what pictures do to our language, because you don't anymore explain what you have seen. You take a picture and show it to your friends. And of course that is an advantage with pictures and films, so you can show it, you don't need to tell it or explain it. But I also find it very interesting. There have been recently there have been quite some where they show the visualization that's been doing of how life would be in this new built environment, and then they take picture of what it actually is. It is two different things.